Hello everyone, it is the Night Shadow, and what you just witnessed was the strength of the Five Nights at Freddy's map, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, that was recently added to Dead by Daylight. I have played maybe a couple dozen matches on this map, as both Killer and Survivor combined. I've only played one match of Killer, and it is seeming that it is not a weak map at all. I've heard a lot of survivors saying, for multiple reasons, bringing up different points, that the map is very, very, very killer-sided, or that it's super bad for survivors. Or I heard a guy complaining about, oh, the map is terrible for chase because the loops are so weak. That is not true. That is not even close to the truth. That could not be farther from the truth. This map is a strong chase map. Maybe it's definitely not the most survivor-sided map because it's quite small and compact and the hooks are close together, the gens are close together. But in terms of chase potential, it is very strong. It is in the same caliber as... it is stronger than Greenville, definitely, I would say. It's in the same caliber as probably Garden of Joy. Maybe not quite Area of Crows, but the same level as maps like Garden of Joy and Springwood in terms of chase potential, and more specifically, not necessarily in terms of chase potential for the very best survivors, because the very best survivors can do fairly well on almost any map. This map is extremely easy to play well. It is not a map like Haddonfield, for example, which is very, very high skill for the survivors. It's extremely difficult to understand. It's a confusing map. It's hard to master. No, this map is quite different. This map is easy to play. Apart from the main building, it's true, the main building is quite difficult, but everything else on the map is very easy to play. It's very intuitive. It doesn't require much specific map knowledge, just basic knowledge of how to loop, such as not zoning yourself into a bad spot, and obviously normal reaction time, not perfect reaction time, just regular reaction time, and knowing how to play basic tiles like a jungle gym or the shack tile. If you can do those things, this map is in the top 10, maybe even top 5 maps in the game for chase potential. This does not mean it is a survivor-sided map. Those two things are not the same. It is probably still a killer-sided map, because in terms of macro gameplay, it is very killer-sided in many ways. The main building is weak. There's line of sight, not always, but where there needs to be. Gens are close together, plenty of hooks close to edge maps, so you can't really die in the corner to waste the killer's time. In terms of macro gameplay, it is very, very good for the killer. Also, the item spawns are great for killers, like Sadako and Springtrap. But overall, the map's chase potential, regardless of its killer-sidedness or survivor-sidedness, is very high and not very difficult. Now, I have these games to show you today. You've already been seeing some of my chases because I've been yapping for so long, and you also saw a very good chase at the beginning. Now, yes, there was some skill expression from me, of course. Yeah, you can see there were a few nice dodges here and there, but overall, I did not extend my chase that long because I'm cracked at Survivor or anything. I extended my chase that long because the map is very good for Survivor chases. But why is it so good for Survivor chases? Well, that's what I'm here to answer today, to provide arguments and to hopefully convince the people that somehow think that this map is terrible for Survivor. The first reason that I think it's very good for Survivor Chase is because there are a bunch of pallets, like a lot of them. I'm talking almost Greenville level. Obviously, if you've played on it, it draws from Greenville. The background environment is Greenville. The 4 or 5 loops that are very strong, by the way, we'll get to that in a minute, are from Greenville. Even some of the textures in the main building, like, the red bloody thingamajigs, those are also shared with Greenville. So the map has a lot in common with Greenville. And one of those important things is the number of pallets. There are a lot of pallets on this map. In the second match that I showed you guys, I've pallet saved a Fung, and that is because there are a lot of pallets, so it was super easy for her to die underneath a pallet, and thus I could get the save. Duh. Another thing that makes the map super strong is that you can literally see the killer through walls. Now, not literally. Obviously, yeah, you can see Springtrap through walls, but that's not what I'm talking about, like, because of his power. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about the Greenville loops let you locate the killer through walls visually. Not because you can see their actual model, but because of the red stain. Especially if they're facing into the wall, which a very significant portion of the time they are facing towards the wall or, adjacent to it. If you look at this clip that I'm showing on screen now, you will see that I am at one of the Greenville style loops, like one of the loops taken from Greenville, and I can quite literally see where Springtrap is through the wall. I'm reacting to it actively while he's moving back and forth. I'm playing around the window and I'm able to react perfectly as if I had wall hacks on him on a tile that's already a pretty strong tile because of the map. On other maps, like on Macmillan, you can't do this because you can't see the red stain through the wall. But on this map, and on Greenville as well, though Greenville has much less of these loops, you can do so. At the end, obviously, I went down because I wasn't paying attention and because I'm fucking terrible at the game. Anyway, I hope I could convince you if you thought this map was really bad for Survivor, because it's not, at least in my experience. Maybe you have a different experience. If you do, definitely go ahead and tell me in the comments. And I hope this also helped you to learn the map a little bit. Maybe some of the clips taught you how to chain the loops into one another. It's important not to zone yourself because it is quite a small and compact map. It's easy to accidentally get yourself into a bad spot, so try to avoid doing that as much as possible. And with that being said, I will hopefully see you guys next time. Peace.